Kyle Shanahan's voice carried the kind of weight only a long season of hope, pressure, and heartbreak can create. When he spoke about Brandon Aiyuk, you could feel the tug of war between optimism and reality, like a coach trying to hold on to a rope that keeps slipping from his fingers. This wasn't just an injury update. It felt like a window into a team wrestling with uncertainty, loyalty, and the emotional gravity of losing one of its brightest stars. The news had already hit hard earlier that morning when 49ers general manager John Lynch admitted he wasn't sure Aiyuk returning this season was realistic. It wasn't the kind of statement fans wanted, but it was the truth slipping out before anyone could dress it up. Hours later, Shanahan stepped forward and delivered his own take, a tone softer but still painfully honest. He said he remained hopeful, and you could almost picture him holding on to that last thread of belief, but he wasn't counting on it. Those words, they sting when they come from a coach who's watched Aiyuk grow, fight, and electrify stadiums. Before I continue, if you're someone who wants the real story, the real emotions, and not the watered-down versions floating around online, hit that subscribe button right now. Because trust me, this is the kind of journey you don't want to miss. Aiyuk's injury wasn't something anyone could shrug off. ACL, MCL, and meniscus, all torn in one devastating moment against the Chiefs on October 20th, 2024. One instant, one play, and suddenly a player who built his name on explosive footwork and fearless routes was left staring at a mountain no athlete ever wants to climb. Rehabbing all three major structures in the same knee is brutal. It breaks a lot of players mentally before it ever breaks them physically. And now, with only 4 regular season games left, he's still stuck on the physically unable to perform list. The clock keeps ticking, and it's ticking louder every day. But the physical recovery isn't the only storm around Aiyuk. His future with the 49ers feels like a puzzle with missing pieces. Earlier this year, the team voided the remaining guarantees on his contract, a move that raised eyebrows, stirred frustration, and added gasoline to the fire of uncertainty. Then came the ESPN report hinting that tension between Aiyuk and the franchise stems from him missing off-season rehab sessions. Suddenly, the story wasn't just about an injury. It was about trust, disappointment, and maybe even miscommunication spiraling into something bigger than anyone expected. When KNBR pressed Lynch about whether the contract adjustment made things worse, he tried to keep it steady. He said he didn't think the report itself was the inflection point, but he admitted something that spoke louder than any headline. The entire time, it hadn't been great. That one line felt like a curtain being pulled back, a quiet confirmation that what's happening behind the scenes isn't just business as usual. He talked about professionalism, about the need for everyone involved to carry themselves the right way. His tone suggested he's trying to keep the ship steady even while the waves are hitting harder than anyone wants to admit. It sounded like a leader choosing his words carefully, not to hide the truth, but to avoid pouring more fuel onto an already sensitive situation. And here's the emotional core of all this. Fans love Brandon Aiyuk. His energy, his spark, his ability to make impossible catches look routine, that's the kind of player people rally around. Hearing that his season might already be over is painful enough, but hearing that his relationship with the team may be in a fragile place hurts on a whole different level. It's like watching two people who used to be inseparable trying to figure out how they got so far apart. By the way, if you're still here, if you're feeling that same weight, that same concern, that same hope that maybe, just maybe, this story hasn't reached its final chapter, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Stay with me. Stay with the real updates. Stay with the story, not the speculation. Because at the end of the day, what Shanahan said still matters. He's hopeful. Not counting on it, but hopeful. And sometimes in sports and in life, hope is the spark that keeps everything else alive.